So I picked up this Green Glyphs Lenormand, and the reason why is a friend of mine over on Substack named Katie. By the way, an amazing reader. She picked this deck up and did a reading and was blown away by it. I'm like, I gotta have that deck. Anyway, I just fell in love with it. I had him on it for a while too, but I never really was ready to buy it. And then when she showed it on a reading she did, I was like, man, this thing is just really a nice deck. So we're gonna walk through this deck here and just see what it's about. Okay, so Katie, thank you. See, he's got this guidebook, right? Gotta do that. Check it out. And it's pretty thorough, it looks like. It's nice quality. Goes through all the cards. It's actually really nice. Painting the portrait. Oh, that's cool. The houses of the tableau, where everything sits at. That's nice. Let's see, linking house. It tells you how they work together. The snake, right? Snake's all about complexity, pride, problem, seduction, mistress, wisdom, jealousy, desire, but it's also about toxicity, problems, things like that. And then you also got the cop, and check that out. It's all about ending, loss, grief, illness, ghost, mourning, ghost, huh? Mourning, sadness, and deadline. But I know Lenormand's literal, but it's also can be like trap. Like if you're in a coffin, you're alive, you're trapped. Also that type of vibe going on. And so I'm just curious. I'm going to ask you something. Do you all like Lenormand? Because it's one of the more accurate readings and tools I use in conjunction with tarot. I combine them both, but I tell you, I fell in love with it. I want to do more of it. I want to get your thoughts on it. I did a poll here on YouTube. I want to know your feedback. It was around tarot, tarot and Lenormand, tarot, Lenormand dice, Lenormand. What do you want to see more of? And that was the question. So the box. Okay, it's a nice little box too. Little saying here, like a little poem or something. And the artist is James Ads, Eads. Can't pronounce that, but it's James. Is it Eads or Ads? I don't know, but that's who it is. And I got these from Etsy directly. I don't buy anything anymore from Amazon because every time I do, they get screwed up, and there's so many fakes on Amazon. I go directly to the source. So that's the box, and it's a magnetic as well. Isn't that cool? The price, I have no idea what I paid for this thing. Like I said, it was on Etsy. I just bought it because I was like, I gotta have it. One of those type of things. They have a tarot deck too, but I don't know if I'll get that one. Okay, so take this off. I'm gonna keep that, reuse it. Now look at that. The gilding on that is absolutely beautiful. So gold gilding. And the cards are actually really high quality. They feel, I don't know, like they're matte compared to the blue board Lenormand. It's more of a glossy kind of a card. These are more of a, they feel more custom, like they feel handmade almost. See the difference? A little bigger too. But I really like this. Albatross. Interesting, different name for the card. Okay, so let's go and walk through these real quick. But before on the albatross, that's the cross 36. That's interesting. Why do you call it? I'm going out of order here, but that's okay. We can do this however we want to, right, y'all? How are y'all doing tonight? It's nighttime. It's about almost midnight my time. Okay, so he has it as the albatross and the cross. Interesting. This symbol too in Lenormand could also just not only be a burden, it could also be faith, spirituality, things like that. So it really depends on what it pairs with. So, all right, let's walk through this deck. I'm going to probably drop the camera down because it seems awfully high. I don't want to hold them the whole time. So give me a second here and I'll drop this down a little bit. Okay, so the first card we have is the Rider. I'm just going to whip through these. Clover. Yeah, I'll do that, don't I, y'all? Clover's a cool card because people think it means good luck, but there's a deeper meaning to the clover. When you think about in ancient times or older times, the clover represented that the field was plentiful with rain, and then they'll have a good yield for their cattle or for the animals to graze because they ate the clovers. So clover is more than good luck. It's the fact they had a good year in prosperity that brought about abundance. And so I guess in a way you could say it's good luck, but there's more meaning to than just luck. That's the clover. Ship. Interesting. House. It's a cool house. I'm really digging that one. Tree. Maybe we'll do a side-by-side comparison sometime. Let me know if you would like to see that with different Lenormand decks. We'll flip through them, one by one and just compare them. Clouds, snake. That's a cool snake. I'm gonna be reading with this deck too afterwards, I think. I have a question in mind. Coffin. I love that coffin. Bouquet. That's nice. The scythe. I don't know if I pronounced that right. I think I am. The scythe. Okay. The whip. Too, just a little quick tip if you want to get into Lenormand. I love it. See the club? That's a wand. So you think about club on a Lenormand card, think about fire energy, right? That's what it represents. A spade would be your sword, your thought, your mind. So when you're reading, well, in the beginning, just look at the card and try to figure it out. But when you get more advanced with it and enjoy it more, you can also look at the symbol and like the player. So a joker could be, I don't know if that's like a page or a knight. I think it's a page, I'm not sure. But think about that type of energy, right? So it's kind of young, immature, aggressive, and so forth. And the whip, the 11. Now they say you don't use numerology in Lenormand, but that's why I called myself Tarot with a Twist. Again, I changed my name, by the way. It used to be Words with Twist, but because 11, I like to also use intuition, use numbers because 11 with a whip, right? Sometimes you have to use your intuition to break the cycle. See what I'm saying? Break the pattern, break the pain, break the whatever. You have to tap deep inside in order to move away from it, right? That's just one way of looking at it. But also could be a repeated pattern too. A whip, right? Keeps going on and on and on and on. All right, so that's the whip. Birds. That's a weird, weird birds card in a good way, but it's definitely different. Child, that's cool. Sun coming up. Fox. You know, the fox is cool too. So some people equate the fox to finances or a job. It's like a employment card sometimes, but also means deception, deceitfulness. But remember, what does a fox do? A fox doesn't only steal things, right? Oh, the fox stole the hen house. Why did they steal that thing? Well, they took the food to feed their young. So it was a position of survival, not just to go take something that wasn't theirs. So again, you can read cards so many different ways, and that's what I love about Lenormand, actually, and tarot. The bear, that's a cool bear, mother bear right there. Star, a network vibe on this one. Universe, network, interconnectivity. That's a really cool one. Stork, the dog, the dog, the tower. Again, in Lenormand, this does not mean things are going to crash, crumbling down. In Lenormand is different. This is more about isolation. It could be your job, business, tower, a building. It could be like a inside of a facility, hospital, medical, jail, prison. The point is, it's not. It's different than tarot. So keep that in mind when if you're getting into this, Lenormand. I tell you, I am starting to like Lenormand more than tarot. I feel like you can use tarot to expand on a reading, but this really is like accurate. Is why I love it so much. The garden, that's your social scene, right? Your social vibe going on there. The mountain, I love that mountain. Challenges, struggles. The trees in front shot. These are really well done. Past, that's your crossroads. Which way you gonna go? This way or that way? And I think what the card is alluding to, because of the queen, is you have to use a maturity when you make a decision. You can't just go off emotions, blind faith, because it's the queen. Now, again, I don't know if that's the Lenormand thing or not. I'm just saying this from, reading so much tarot. And then you have the diamond there as well, which I believe is the pentacle. The diamonds relate to pentacles. So it's kind of like the earther realm. So here you are on earth. Which path are you going to choose to go forward? You got to tap into that queen energy, that intuition, that maturity, that capability that you built up over the years to make that the wise choice to go down the right path. Mice. Okay. Heart. That's a good heart card. It's very literal. The ring. Okay. Rings too, not only do they mean commitment, they can mean contract, they can mean cycles, round, over and over again too, same thing. So think about that. Ace, possibilities, and that's a club. Fire, desires, passions, right? Again, I'm reading more into this than just straight up Lenormand, so I know that there is Lenormand is very literal, but because I do things a little differently, this is how I read them. That's just my thing. And you can do how you want to do it. But I would recommend learning the meanings first and then expand on them. Book, okay. Letter, messages, right? This one's open, so it's exposed. Communication. The gentleman, that's a querent card, by the way. Ace again, that's interesting. Ooh, that's interesting. So the man is well, it could be man or woman, right? But in this case, they call it gentleman. It's a heart. So it's emotion, it's your cup. So the man is based on cup, which is weird because that's passive, right? And then the woman is the spade, which is the sword, which is active. And it's mind. That's kind of cool. Lily. Lily's around long term. That's why it's the king. Patience, longevity. Oh, that is a brilliant sun card. You can just feel the energy in that card. Again, another ace. Because the sun does always bring new potential and possibilities, doesn't it? The moon. So in Lenormand, some say this is about being renowned, making a name for yourself. But I also still kind of, when I read it, this is just me, right? I still pick up a little bit of that tarot vibe to it, a little confusion, a little uncertainty, a little subconscious. But again, too, you read how you want. So I again would recommend just learning the basics first. The key, success, unlocks something. Fish. This can have different meanings too, but this is usually around finances, money. They call it the money card. The anchor is stability. You're stuck, locked in, you're not moving. Once the anchor is planted, the ship isn't going anywhere until it's pulled back up. The cross, that's a beautiful cross card. Wait a minute, these are out of order. The late didn't hold on. Did we see the lady a minute ago? We did. So I guess he's providing two cards you can use for the lady. But they're interchangeable. 28. But what? Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. What are you doing here, dude? Gentleman or person or lady too. Okay. Represents a querent or someone in the querent's life. The card is spoken about by reading the surrounding cards. Well, we know. Oh, I see. So 29, so it'll be another card for the guy, is a lady, the person, or gentleman too. Okay, so there are extra cards in this deck. Just like typical Lenormand, they all have like, well, not all of them. Some only have one querent. This one has two males and two female cards, but they don't have to represent, your gender. Yeah, there it is. 29. Okay. That's kind of cool, actually. I like that. I like when they give you the option to pick and choose. Sometimes it can also represent another person, right? What? Okay, this is a person, huh? Wait, what? What? Okay, so rather than the querent, it's maybe another person involved. So there's a lot of extra cards in this deck. The person again. And then we end on the albatross. Huh. What? Okay, hold on. This deck is actually interesting. So, hold on. Come on, y'all. So 17. Let's look at the numbers here. I'm going through numbers. We're cruising along. Little review here. The deck review of this deck. We're enjoying it, right? I'm enjoying it. Then we got some cards. 34, 36 to cross. So there's two cards represent the cross. What's the difference between 30? What is the difference between that one and that one? Let's see. I don't know if you're supposed to pull one out, leave them both in, but burden, challenge, faith, karma, duty, responsibility, conviction. But the albatross is dead. Shot down from the sky. Injured, wounded. I'll have to go through that book and see what the deal is. Because I don't know why he has two of them in here. Anyway, so that's this interesting, that book. Got a little zoned out there. So okay. So there's two albatrosses, there's two crosses cards, 36. And by the way, the number also represents the house. So when you do a grand tableau, you lay your cards out with all of them lined out. And let's say that you have that, I don't know, the rider land in position 2. So that means that there's a message around some type of luck or some type of thing that will happen because it's the Clover card. So the rider's in the Clover, so it picks up the Clover energy. Or let's say the rider lands in 3, the ship. That means there'll be a message coming or something happening, moving quickly that is basically on the move, right? 'Cause something's maybe traveling across seas or it's something like that. The point being is the numbers represent the positions for the different houses in the ground tableau. Now, I also use numerology sometimes. So when I'm reading like a 5-line spread versus the whole tableau, I use them more for numerology base. Again, you can do what you want, right? You read however you see fit. But I would recommend at least learning the cards first before you start doing how you want to do it. Just because then you have a kind of a good idea of what the things mean. Anyway, that is the actual walkthrough of this really cool Green Glyph Lenormand. And my recommendation would be to buy it. I actually think it's a beautiful deck. I think it's very well made. I think it could bring a lot of enjoyment and fun to your readings. And pairing up with a tarot deck could be really cool too. So yeah, I recommend check it out. What are your thoughts? What do you think about this? Do you like these cards? Do you see yourself buying this deck? And I'm gonna check one more thing here real quick. Yeah, I'm a little bit rambling now. Like that albatross card just kind of threw me for a loop. And the person card too. But yeah, the quality is nice. I'm not gonna shuffle it, but they do feel high quality. They feel like a handmade deck. So definitely worth the money. I don't remember what they cost. Go on Etsy, check it out. Type in that word there, the Green Glyph Lenormand, and make sure it's from prismavision.com or Prismavision Color on Etsy, because like I said, there's a lot of fakes out there and a lot of frauds. Anyway, that's what I got for you, and we'll do another deck review here shortly. I'm not sure what I'm going to review. I'm thinking about maybe, I'll give you a little heads up here. If you made it this far, then cool. I'm thinking about this one here, the Travel Pocket Oracle, which came from Switzerland. And this guy, Eugene's decks are just amazing. I bought a couple of him already, and I'm in love with them. The guy does the artwork himself, and they're brilliant. They're just brilliant. And then I found this deck. I was like, you know what? That looks really cool. So I guess it comes out of Norway or somewhere like that. I have to double check that, but I found it, and I'm like, you know, that looks really, really interesting. So it's another one that I might review here real soon. So anyway, that's all I got for you folks. And until next time, I want to see you in my next videos and talk to y'all later. Bye-bye now.